Hi, Limit Break Overdrive with another build guide video, and once again this league I'm going with Boneshatter Juggernaut. The league will make quite a few changes that will impact the build though, but it's still pretty strong. The defenses will be the same, and it's just going to be slightly harder to get everything sorted on the gear. And damage wise, we do lose Diverge and Boneshatter since we won't get any more alternate quality gems, but the new standard quality is going to give us even more damage than Diverge and Boneshatter did. So before going any deeper in the build, let's just look into that. Alright, so the way we can test that quite easily is by using the custom modifier box in POE in the config window. So it's explained here, but I'll tell you why it works, because reading is hard, right? The new Boneshatter gem gives you 1% more damage per trauma stacks, and the skill already does that. You already get 4, so that's going to be 5 with 20 quality. 19 quality is not going to do anything, so keep that in mind. And now we have 3887 damage. Alright. Now if I comment that so it doesn't work, go here, 3.2 instead of 3.887, so big difference. We can even lower that, like 15 stacks. We're gonna put 15 here so I don't forget. So 2264. To 4, so it's 200k more, even at 15 stacks. Of course, with the gear I have in the build, still wearing a pretty good axe, but even with like a tier 1 map axe, it's gonna be the same always. So that new quality is gonna help quite a lot. So I updated the notes section quite a lot, removed what is not in the game anymore, updated the new sections. I recommend you to read all of that if you're new to the game and want to try my build before asking any questions, because most of the questions will be answered. Like I'm talking about the Pantheon, why and when take which one, the Anointment, why and when to take them and whatnot. It's quite precise. I might have forgotten something, so if you read that, you watch the video and you still have questions, you don't hesitate. You come either on my Discord, on my Twitch, even in the YouTube comments section if you prefer, and you can ask questions. I'm gonna be more than happy to help you, of course. But yeah, pretty lengthy one, so you can read only what you need to. Depends on your skill level in the game, but yeah, make sure you read that. Okay, a quick overview of the skill gems. You get your main. I added the awakened gems. They're not active, but if you do get them, you can just check these and add crushed and intimidate. Don't forget to do that, and the reason is because brutality at level 5, awakened brutality, gives you a chance to crush, and melee fist gives you a chance to intimidate. And since we attack quite fast, the enemy is always going to be both, so or close to, so pretty good thing to remember. The auras early on, you're gonna enable this one and disable the endgame auras. The reason is because until you can run Arctic armor, this is what you're gonna follow. I mean this one. So it's the only reason there's two setup. It's the same but without Arctic armor, just to be like more precise. Just at a glance. Berserk is disabled in the guide because it's inflating the deeps for no reason. Like I don't want to be, oh I got 8 million deeps, when it's not true. Like it's just a damage burst. Like I can enable it and like 5.7 instead of 3.88. So yeah. This is the reason it's disabled, but you do want to run that. And Vengeance and Rage, if you have enough sockets, and I believe you do have enough, but I might have miscalculated. The reason is this with this with the Eldritch Implicit will make you generate rage way faster, which means you can use Berserk more often. Or if you do it, you can just take something other than gain rage, like attack speed or max core res, for example, which are pretty good implicit as well. Alright, now let's get to the meat of the build, which is the items in the skill tree. I have made quite a few gear sets and skill tree, as you can see. And first things first, you have your leveling trees, like starting tree. Then when you get your first lab, your first ascendancy, you should be around there. Rule lab. If you ascend later or earlier, you can keep going in the trees. There's no problem there. And then this is your end game, like level 94 skill tree. But what I want you people to know is, for example, you don't have a brass dome. This is the no brass dome setup. You need the no brass dome setup for the passive 3. If you do get a brass dome, you want brass dome setup. The skill tree will be slightly different. Again, you want cluster jewels. I do have that, and it's slightly better with the cluster jewels. That takes care of the leech, even though that cluster is expensive, like 1 or 2 div. It gets the job done. Then you have your small clusters. You can even go to, oh, I'm level 100. What am I doing? Okay, brass dome level 100 with clusters. No brass dome with cluster level 100. No brass dome level 100. No cluster. You got them all. You just choose, as long as this follows. So this is the main thing. Other than that, the items, the rings, I tend to go for amethyst ring because of the chaos resistance. It's just so good. If you find, for example, a vermilion ring, it would be worth using as well, as long as your maximum unreserved life is higher than your accuracy for precise technique. And you can see that right here. See, 5241, 5217. I'm just there. If I level up, I either have to get more accuracy somewhere or just spec out of this life node with the exact gear I have in the build currently. Of course, that will probably be different when you guys play. The Anoints, Charisma, or Inveterate if you use Brass Dome, just to make sure your spell suppressed. This is for the auras, so we get everything. Lastly, I was going to get the skill effect duration. Now I've decided against it, because it's so many points and I had to change a few things for reservation and whatnot, so I just take these for spell suppression instead. Yeah, I feel it's just better, and with a rare chest it's not going to be that big of a problem. With Brass Dome you do need to anoint this, which means it's going to be harder for the reservation. You're going to have to use essences of loading, absolutely. So a few differences, but it's all, again, it's all explained in the notes. You have your trees, your gear sets. You can just look, like the helm here has reservation as an implicit, and that's it. If you go to Brass Dome setup, the helm has it at both, like Eldritch implicit and as an implicit, an explicit on the item. So you can just follow that. It's pretty easy to understand. I've added a few items like a Watcher's Eyes, just to give you an idea of stats you can get. Like this one. I do have a Lethal Pride. Where is it? Where's my Lethal Pride? With clusters. There you go. And once we're done talking about the trees, I'm going to tell you how and where I go to get a good Timeless Jewel. Like you can see, this one has melee damage, double damage, 20 strength, Fizz taken as fire, double damage. There's a way to find here and on the website I'm gonna leave in the description below, so you can look. It's Timeless Jewel Finder or something similar. Find Timeless Jewel. You can search for nodes if you want a specific keystone, or just attack damage, melee damage, and whatnot. And then you search and you're gonna get a bunch of entry, which you can then add directly into POE. It's pretty good. And I don't think there was anything. Let me look at my notes. Oh yeah, there's a few skill points that you can spec out of. If I go back to the first setup, you're gonna get this. If you have leech on a jewel or on gear, you can just not take it. Same for corrupted blood immunity. If you have it, like I like doing on a jewel in the Stygian Vice, then you don't have to take that. And Harpooner, again, if you have enough impale chance, don't take these. Take these. Take butchery. You're gonna get more damage. This is just for the impale chance. Again, how do you do that? There's a betrayal craft you can get. This is the craft, but if you get it with a veiled chaos orb or from straight up unveiling, then it's gonna be even higher than that. I think it goes to 25 or something. So again, just small things, but as long as you read the notes, you should be good to go. And again, if something is not in the notes or in the video, you can come on my Twitch, in my Discord, even in the YouTube comment section and ask your question. I'm going to be more than happy to help. And that brings us to the last thing, which is the leveling. So the leveling part of the video was going to be pretty short. In the notes section, there's an early leveling guide I made, like gems to pick up and whatnot. It's all there up to act like 6 when you get Lily and can buy the rest of the gem. I'm talking about the library as well with Siosa, but when you decide to switch to Boneshatter, make sure you have Inexorable first, because it's going to help you generate your endurance charges, and during the campaign, at least for a while, it's going to be enough before you get Determination on to offset the damage you inflict yourself. I personally usually switch to Boneshatter after I ascend the first time, and I usually ascend before Dominus, like at about level 31, I guess, with Sunder, and then I switch to Boneshatter. It's slower to map probably than Sunder, but this is what I like playing. I like playing the skill. I will play endgame as soon as possible, so this is when I switch. You don't have to, it's just when you feel comfortable, but don't forget, take Inexorable before you switch. While you level, even though we go with evasion and armor based, only pick up armor based during the leveling, because you're not gonna get spell suppression enough during the campaign. Maybe start in Act 10, but I don't think it matters, and armor is gonna help offset Boneshatter's self-inflicted damage and just mitigate physical damage in general. And it's gonna be way easier for collars in your sockets, since we use a lot of red gems. So during the campaign, you might focus on that. In fact, pick any piece of gear that has the right socket collar. It's the most important, extremely early on. And lastly, I made a video, which I will add in the description below as well, where I was leveling the build up to the middle of Act 4, if I remember correctly. Then it's just more of the same. I show like what I'm picking up, how I craft my weapon and whatnot. So it's gonna be there for those who want to look at it. It's a 3 or 4 hour video, so I don't expect anyone to watch it completely, but you can skip to where you are. You can try to play along. I mean, I'm not the fastest player, so it's probably not that hard to follow what I'm doing, but again, it's there. It's from last league, but it's still up to date for the leveling part, at least for this league. And yeah, other than that, I mean, it's been already a long enough video as it is, and I think I covered everything. So again, let me know down in the comments if you have questions, if you've played my build previously, and if you liked it or not. And I answer pretty much every single comment or close to, so feel free, ask away.